Welcome to the Purpose for Life podcast. I'm your host, Suzanne Roberts, author of It's Deeper Than That. And I am so excited to have here with me Tricia. I know Tricia as an amazing human being that I met at a conference who handed me a book that has changed my life. And what I'd liked, and I'll tell you why, I'll tell you why in just a minute. But Tricia, what I'd like to ask you first and foremost is what happened in your life that caused an awakening for you?
Well, it started when I had a surgery about 20 something years ago, and I went. Nobody said I almost died, so it wasn't considered a near death experience, but I left immediately. I saw a black sky with a billion stars, and I was rushing towards it, and I knew it was like, whoa, I was so excited. And I remember for a brief moment, I was like, looked back over my non-existent shoulder to think about, oh, my kids, and it was like, no, they're on their own journey, and everything's perfect and exactly how it's supposed to be. And I went and I knew immediately quantum physics, which I'd never heard the term quantum physics at the time. I knew that I could have had anything I wanted while I was still there, and I was like, dang it, why didn't I know that then, that I could be, do, or have anything? It was like it was all just there for the taking, right? And I zoomed forward. I ended up connecting with another star being, which I later learned that it was another person that I knew in this lifetime as well. But the next thing I know is my face is being pushed like this, because it was an elective surgery. It wasn't anything major, right? My face is being pushed like this, and I was back. And what do you do with that? Right. So I left that experience. I think I might have told my husband or somebody, and they're all just like, oh, that's just anesthesia. But I knew it wasn't. I knew it to be true. And I held it with me. But when you have a life altering experience like that and you don't alter your life, it can be very painful. So I squashed it.
Interesting.
Yeah, isn't it? So I squashed it. I started receiving downloads about that same time, meaning,
Wait, yeah, say what a download is to you
okay.
because, yeah.
So in the middle of the night, I would wake up. It's not how it is now, but in the middle of the night, I would wake up and I would go sit outside, and I always have used my iPad, and I can type. Thank goodness I took typing in high school, right?
Yeah.
But I would like hear things and I would just write it down. And then the next day I would look at it and I think, wow, that's way beyond me. Where'd that come from? So I've kept them even from back in 2013, but I didn't know what to do with them. I just left them there. Then after that, and we're going to fast forward, I own a business, or I still own it, but I don't work at it anymore. Thankfully, I'm retired. And by that, I mean, I got a new set of wheels. But so many years later, talking went 3 years ago, I went to get a massage, one of my favorite pastime things to do. And my favorite massage therapist, Montana Blue Water, was visiting. She's a visiting therapist, and she's an energy massage person, which I never really got the energy part. I just knew I liked her hands, and, you know, I enjoyed it. So I'm laying there on the table. This is during lunch, and she had turned on some music. It was like Native American music. Anyway, so I'm laying there, and all of a sudden, a bear is sitting next to me. I mean, like, I could smell him, I could feel his fur. I was in this place of like a cave or a tent or something. And I remember taking off my mask and going, what is this about a bear? To Montana, like she could see him too, right? and I mean, it was that real. And Montana said, are you seeing a bear? And I said, yeah. And she said, go back in and watch, pay attention to what happened. So I went back in, and let me tell you, the movie continued. So I'm in there, and the bear had left by this time, but I knew he was still there. He was circling whatever, building a boat or whatever it was that I was in. And there was a hot stone pit in front of me, and I knew it was hot because I could hear, like water drop sizzle on it. And there was an ancient, ancient, ancient woman with really craggy skin sitting across from me, and I knew immediately she was a native of some sort, Native American, Native Peruvian, something. She got up and she came over to me with tobacco in her hand, and she held it on my stomach. She spit on it first and held it on my stomach and said, without speaking, so telepathically, breath work is to be your modality this go round. Well, so when I came out of the massage, and I think that's all I remember of it. I came out of the massage and Montana said, "Tell me." And I told her, and she's very reverent, bless her heart. She said, "Don't tell anyone about this for 3 days. Write it down, hold it, close to you." But I go back to the office going, "Y'all will not believe what just happened to me." Because I mean, it was like, it was trippy. I, my daughter even said I had just done ayahuasca a couple of weeks before because let me back up a second. I have been chasing that same feeling of the love, of the knowing that I experienced during surgery
Yes.
all ever since then. And I chased it through drugs, alcohol, ayahuasca, bufo, San
I don't know
Pedro.
what bufo is. What's bufo?
It's a toad poison.
Okay.
You smoke it. Whenever I've gone on any retreats, I'm always about, yeah, let me try it. Let me try it. Because it was always trying to get back to that place.
See.
So anyway, I get back to the office and go, "Yo, and I believe." And my daughter said, "Mom, maybe that ayahuasca is still not completely worn off." And maybe part of it hadn't. But what I learned in that session, I took to heart. And I went home that night and started searching breath work, becoming a breath work facilitator, because I knew that was a message for me that I needed to pay attention to. So I signed up that night. I mean, boop, like that, signed up that night. Little did I know that it was going to be a 9-month journey with very in depth, where the first 3 months was inner journey. I signed up with Alchemy of Breath, forever, forever grateful to them, to that school. And I signed up, and the first 3 months was inner journey, like, finding out about yourself and figuring yourself out. And I was like, "I'm fine. I don't need anything." But boy, did I figure out there's so much more, so many layers. And really, I couldn't have been the facilitator that I am had I not gone through that prior to learning how to facilitate breath.
I'm fascinated by everything that you're saying, and I'm really listening to the longing inside of you to remember and not knowing how to get there, but trying everything you can. And then all of a sudden having a direction that gave you a
Yes.
pathway and access, and not only for yourself, but a way to be of service. But you had to go through yourself first to be able to be of service. And I think that no matter how anyone gets a message, because I think we all get messages all the time, are we willing to listen to the message that we're getting? And I want to commend you for having reverence that you were given a message and then taking action with it. And can you tell me, from that moment of taking action to where you are now, why it's been worth it to do that?
I would say I'm living the life of my dreams, but I could have never even dreamed this. So it's more of it's what lights me up. Breath to me, and it's something that we all have and we all have access to, but we have not given it the, I don't want to say reverence, because reverence and me are not two things that are synonymous. It's what's given me breath is the bridge to our higher self, to our knowing. For me, I'm not trying to put it on anybody else,
Right, right, right.
but I know it is for everybody.
It's an invitation for
It's an
everybody.
invitation. Thank you. But so from that point on, and me starting to study it, it's just like the world has opened up. So even the download I received today, which I'll send to you later, that you can post if you want to, it was talking about how you're just following your next favorite thing. like something that draws your attention. Oh, I'll go there, and following your excitement. Joseph Campbell said a long time ago, follow your bliss. I don't think I even knew what that was, but it doesn't even, my life, if I thought about it as, oh, I'm here to change people's lives or let them know it, that's not it. I'm here to, for me to have fun. And guess what? In the having fun, in the filling my own cup, it seems to help let others, it's like their permission slip to, hey, I've got it too. Because I'm no more special. Well, we're all special. Let me just say that. I am very special. We're all special. But recognizing and owning our uniqueness, our place in this cosmos is what makes, I don't know, the cosmos sing. It's like a symphony, and we're our note. We are our tone that we
Mm.
brought into this world. That even when we leave this body, this container, we continue. And that one tone, there's something in the Bible that says, know you every hair on your head or whatever it is. We're known by our tone as soon as we leave. I think that I believe that to the core of my being. And when we're all playing our true tone, it's like a symphony.
I love that. Would you talk about when you say the download you got today? There's two things I want, the download you got today and why you bother doing that. And then I would love it if you would take our listeners into a breath exercise. But let's
Oh,
first talk about the download. And can we also talk, before we do the breath experience, can we talk about your book? Because I want to talk about what the book does for me every day. But let's talk about how you download, what the book is. I'd like to say something about what it's for me, and then we'll go into a breath experience, okay?
absolutely. So the downloads, how those started was when I was still training with Alchemy of Breath. There was one practice, and it was called I don't know, we did 27 breaths, and then you went into free writing. And I remember, excuse me, I remember doing the breath that when they were training us to do that. And the guy, Ron, was talking, and he kept talking, and he was like, after we did the breath and we're starting our free writing, he said, just write the first thing that's come to your mind. And what came into my mind was, if you'd just shut up, I could think of what it is. And all of a sudden, my higher self started coming through. And I knew it's kind of like I'm in the not in the driver's seat. It's like I'm in the back seat and it gets to take over. And I see movies and images. And so I receive that way. So the practice was in that training was to do that 3 minutes of breath every day and 10 minutes of free writing every day. So I started doing that every morning. Well, from that, those are my downloads. So every morning now, and I don't even have to do 3 breaths anymore. It's almost like I've primed the pump, and it just sometimes it wakes me up. Sometimes it's the first thing that I do after. I mean, sometimes I'll go get a cup of coffee and then I lay back down and I'll start my breath, but I don't have to breathe very much now at all before it just starts flooding through. And it is like I'm getting to watch a movie. Sometimes my left brain comes in and questions, going, what was that word? Because sometimes there's words that I wouldn't use in my everyday,
Interesting.
life. I
Hmm.
mean, a lot of times that is. But what I have learned to do is I just allow it to come through, however it's going to come through, and then I run it through just to make sure that there's no typos or spellings or anything like that, because I'm not looking while I'm receiving. I'm doing this. Um, and then I post it to my blog because I don't want it to go through the Tricia filter, the human Tricia filter. Because especially when I first started this over 2 years ago or however long, I was like, ooh, what is somebody going to think of me? Because this sounds wackadoodle.
Yeah,
So I trusted. And the more we trust our intuitions, the more you trust those things, the more you're given to trust, to follow, the more beauty opens up in your life. Today's download, that's what it said, is just following that. And it's like your whole worldview opens up, and more and more and more starts coming at you that you get to choose from.
I love that. And let's talk about your book. And I want to share with the listeners how I use your book.
Yeah. Okay. So my book, how it came about, this is it. What if
Love it.
everything is possible? It is. So I was working with Amy, who is also with Alchemy of Breath, and because I knew I wanted to get it all in a book. I mean, things from 2013 on, but it was just seemed daunting to me. I didn't even know how to go about that. And she's the one who suggested, why don't you put them on a blog? And I was like, okay, I can do that. That's something I can do. Well, so when the book part came about, I was working with an editor, Claire, and she said, well, send me which ones you want to include. And I said, I can't do that. That's like choosing a favorite child because every one of these, let me tell you, it's my favorite time of day. I wake up just so excited. And when it comes through me, I get the feeling of what it is, even though I don't know what it is talking about. Sometimes I hear parts of it. It's like I'm on different uh planes of reception. Sometimes I hear more, sometimes I don't, and I'm just enjoying the what I'm seeing, and sometimes it just feels so good. And then after I receive every day, this part is not in any of the books. I put it after I've already posted, I put it into my chat, which believe me, there's nothing artificial about the intelligence that comes through. And I'll say, what is this even about? And we go on a deeper dive, and I get to experience it. It's almost like I get to deliver this. I'm the UPS delivery person, but then I get to jump on the other side of the door and open it up because it's as much for me as it is for
I love that.
anybody. Whether it affects anybody else, it's always for me. So Claire, I told her she had to choose. She chose from, I just sent her all my downloads, and I don't know how she chose which 111 because 111 is an important number to me. It just pops up all the time. There's 111 downloads in here, and I didn't know that it was going to be used as an oracle book. Actually, I called it a bathroom book.
That's where mine is.
Oh, okay. It's great just to pick it up and go, oh, okay.
Exactly.
But people, that is how it is most used. Some people read it from cover to cover. I do this. The first 4 pages are my story, like what I just gave to you. But then I just do this. I just did a reading just a few minutes ago, right before we got on. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to flip. Guess what? The first one I flipped to was breath. And I thought, well, how apropos is that, right? And then I said, okay. And I didn't read the whole thing. I just read the first couple of sentences to see if it would resonate. Then I flipped to the next one. Guess what the next one was? Abundance. So I was like, okay, here's my side. Yes, breath of abundance. That's who I am. That's what I am. Is breath of abundance on Facebook, Instagram, all of that. But so to me, this is an oracle book. I use it for me. I keep it on my bedside table.
I love it. I open it up every morning and I'm like struck by what I open to and how relevant it is and what a requirement it is. I don't know how else to say that, but it's like, pay attention here. This is something for me to tune into what I'm being asked or called into at a deeper level. And I find it very profound. I recommend you getting it. Everyone that's listening, we'll put a link in how to get it. It's such a great offer. And every day it's just amazing. I love it. Thank you so much. Would you be willing to guide us into a breath experience here?
Absolutely, absolutely. Let me say one other thing about this. What I receive is universal truth. It's all of us are receiving. All of us are a channel. It's just what station are we tuned to? That's
And
all.
how are we being used to tune? Like I'm not a downloader in that way. That's not how I'm used, I guess I would say, but everybody has access to this information inside. This is a particular way it comes through you.
Yeah,
And you are the breath of abundance. You are the hope of possibility. You are the living reality of it. And I think you are the frequency of it.
definitely frequency. I've tuned to that, which we
Yes.
and you, Suzanne, let me just say this. When I met you, you were like the science support to my to what I receive. You know, it's all
Yeah.
being it's all being supported now through scientifically that
Yes.
breath is way more than we've ever given it credit for. So
Okay. Let's
so
go.
yeah, all right, let's lead a little breath. If you don't mind, just like we're just gonna do a real short one here, but close
And
down.
for those that, hold on before you go, for those of you that might be driving or walking, pause it here and then come back to it so you can close your eyes and do it. All right. Thanks.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And we'll save it for later.
Yeah.
But just put your feet flat on the floor, if you will. Close down your eyes or a soft gaze if that feels more comfortable. Feel your body as it's sitting, lying. Feel the weight. We're going to just breathe in through our nose for a count of 4. Exhale for a count of 8 through rounded lips. Do that again. And on your own, do that 3 more times. Feel your shoulders as you're doing that, just releasing away from your ears, the weight of your body. The satisfaction. And on this last exhale of 8, shake your head from side to side, let it nod, shake your hands, and bring your eyes back into focus, back into the space. And just notice, do you feel any differently? Your breath is something we can use for little small practices like that before you go into a meeting, before you have a tough conversation. There's many, many different breaths you can access on the internet or anywhere else. What I like to practice with my clients and with groups is conscious connected breath, which is not what we just did, where your body, your breath takes you on a journey. And it, to me, that it's the most profound use of the breath. You don't lose control. You are always in control, but the clarity that comes through in those sessions is amazing. One of the groups that I'm getting to work with is it's in the very beginning founding stages of it right now, is bringing that breath, that conscious connected breath, and the science that supports it is also into the corporate realm, and its global breath network, bringing out, there's so many facilitators that know this and know how to bring it to so many people, because there's a lot of people. I was about to say like me. No, there's a lot of people that are gifted in the areas of bringing breath to people, bringing the power of the breath to somebody so that they can find their own inner light. Because that's all it is. We're all so unique and so we are beautifully and wonderfully made, and recognizing our own true light, man, we can do just about anything. Well, we can do anything.
I think it's fascinating when you talk about conscious breath because we are breathing all the time without making ourselves breathe. And I'm always, from the world that I live in, I say that we have a primary respiration. Our soul current is a current of energy that conducts through the cerebral spinal fluid and literally conducts your heart to beat and makes your breath happen without you being part of it. I believe when we consciously work with the breath, consciously tuning in to that primary respiration that's giving us the very gift of life, instead of breathing unconsciously because there's a pump pumping it. But when we consciously choose to breathe, it begins to give us access to that primary respiration, to the soul current that's inside of us, which you're calling the light. And I find that very fascinating. I mean, I am a science person and I love metaphysics and science together, but I just am fascinated by conscious breathing because our breathing is unconscious and yet supplied by the giver of life. So it's to become conscious of your breath brings you into consciousness with the very gift of life that's been given to you by the eternal ocean of love.
Yes. And do you know, okay, most of us have become chest breathers, right? Because we sit down, we're just, at our keyboard. It's unconscious. And when we do consciously breathe, breathing all the way down into our bellies, we can send your breath to any part of your
Yep.
body. It activates the vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve is what informs, us to our heart to beat, our, tell us when we're full. It activate it
It
informs.
regulates the parasympathetic nervous system.
Thank you. Yes.
Yep.
There's that science part. Yes, it does. And they've even started like implanting stimulators medically now to activate your vagus nerve because they know how important it is in
Yep.
the function of our overall being, where all you have to do is
Is breathe
consciously and
conscious.
intentionally breathe, take deep breaths. Isn't that something?
It's amazing. We're going to have to begin to wind down now. What I'd like to ask all of my people that I get to interview is what do you think the purpose for life is?
It's going to sound very surface, but the purpose of life is to enjoy and to have fun. And when we are doing that, we are on our path. We are going to fulfill what our purpose is. It's not heavy, it's not cumbersome. It's following your joy is the purpose and provides the path to what our true purpose is for me.
That doesn't sound superficial or surfacey. That sounds deep. It's just not heavy. Deep
It
does
is,
not mean heavy. So I
but it
find
is
that very,
deeper than that.
it is deeper than that. That is absolutely the truth. Can you tell us once again the name of your book and how people can get a hold of you?
Absolutely. This one is What If Everything is Possible? It Is. You can find me and it on Amazon and Brett Barnes and Noble. You can find the Audible version, which is now available, and I'm reading it on books on your Apple Books app or the Audible app. And there's also an accompanying workbook that goes along with this that is also available on Amazon. The next book is Conversations with Consciousness, which also has downloads as well as the whole back end story, my conversations that I have every day is
Awesome.
recorded in that.
And then how do people get a hold of you the best way? Is it through email, your website, your blog?
On the website, you can reach me. There's a contact us button, and that'll reach me. On Instagram, I'm Breath of Abundance. You can reach me there. On Facebook, Breath of Abundance.
Is your website Breath of Abundance?
Breath of Abundance. Yeah, I have
Perfect.
Breath of Abundance all over the place.
And which is what you pulled for today. That's just amazing.
Isn't it? Isn't it? Yeah.
And what's a parting message that you have for our listeners here today?
It is just that. Just enjoy life. And if whatever the situation is that you're in right now, if it's not something that's bringing you joy, find something. There's something in your life you can look at. Shift your gaze just a little bit to find something that brings you a little bit of relief if you're not in the best place, or even more pleasure. So just following that, that is all there is to me. And I will send you today's download because I do believe it has something to do. All it's the same message all wrapped up in one download.
That's great. I'll make sure Brian includes it in the podcast send out. Thank you, all listeners, for joining us here today. It's been an absolute pleasure having Tricia Dimon here with us today, Breath of Abundance. I'm Suzanne Roberts, your host of The Purpose for Life, author of It's Deeper Than That, October 15th. You can come live in Columbus, Ohio, or live stream the launch of the book and the documentary. And thank you for joining us today. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.